Whatever happened to the night left short of you? How did Briscoe get it done? He had James Small to coach him on what to do. Here's what he said, how they won at Pocono. Pocono, Pocono, no, 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 no. Pocono, 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 no, 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 no. Remember, use the dirty air. Remember, and Hamlin won't get there. Remember, lift really early. Remember, and pray like you're a clergy. Remember, slow it down more. And touch the throttle so softly, softly we'll win at Pocono.
Oh, yeah!
I think Dalton just died.
Welcome on into Happy Hour. I am Trey Lyle, and that is Dalton Hopkins, and of course, Puke Combs, aka Michael Massie, joining us as well as he drinks the best soda that exists, Mountain Dew Code Red. And we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk more about racing. But fellas, how are we doing?
I didn't know it was going to be the meme song.
It's just
I didn't know that's what you were. I didn't know that's what you were covering. I didn't know what the song was because the only time I've ever heard that actual song was when it's in like the high pitched noise. It's like the high pitched voice. So when you got to Pocono, no, I was like, oh my god.
It is a real song from the 60s from like a doo-wop or Motown group, and then Aerosmith covered it. I've heard it because John Frusciante, the guitarist for Red Hot Chili Peppers, covers it sometimes concerts. So it's a good song, and then that's why it makes a great meme song.
The lyrics at the end were really solid. I'm not gonna lie. The last couple of verses were pretty good. Very, very creative.
Thank you.
So give Puke our best, but not you.
yeah, Puke Combs with another banger right there. But let's get into this. We got a show. Molly is saying hi. And then we got, hi, Molly. How are you doing? Brian, he said, what up, guys? Jumping real quick to say San Diego. Let's go.
All right. Yeah. Let's just clarify. That is not confirmed yet. We do not know if they're going to San Diego, but it does look, it does.
We don't know, but we're going to get to it in 1 second.
Yeah.
But as always, sit back, relax, crack open that cold one like I have right here. Unless you're driving or under the age of 21. And let's get right into it.
You can crack open a cold soda if you're driving or under the age of 21. That can be a cold one, right?
I guess technically that is true. That is an accurate.
There you go. I think
Briscoe did. I mean, for the Amazon Prime
Not
celebration.
wrong. I think we're clear of all legal ramifications. As long as we clarify that we can include soda in there.
Hashtag don't sue me.
You need a cold one today because it is hot, at least on the.
Yeah, Michael Massey's really exhausted after watching other people mow his lawn.
It reached 108 in my car today.
Did you try turning on the AC?
What?
No, that's when I got in the car, dumbass.
Oh,
it's so hot, my AC can't keep up with it. Like it's set on 72 with 77 in here.
Well, Brian, it's looking like you're gonna cover a race. I'm assuming, unfortunately for you, Brian, given that it might be in the West Coast, it appears that Brian Nolan might join you. So unfortunately, you would have to deal with that. But let's get into this. Dalton, the story from Jordan Bianchi came out last week. More smoke to that came from the San Diego Tribune this week with even more details, with a possibility of an expanded schedule. So we're going to cover the two parts of this. One, the San Diego part, and then obviously the other part being the expanded schedule. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I will go into the San Diego part. I've heard a multitude of things about San Diego being the popular, or at least not the popular, but maybe the most likely destination of the next street course race. Haven't heard anything about whether or not Chicago is going to stick around. I am assuming that it probably won't. Again, I don't know these things. Okay, so I'm not that good of a reporter.
Speculate.
Yeah, I am recklessly speculating right now, and that was a lot easier to do than I thought it would be. But yeah, I am speculating at the moment, and I've heard San Diego is the most popular destination that for the next street course race, which makes total sense because NASCAR has been trying to look for a way to get back into the Southern California market ever since we left the Coliseum last year. So I think that would probably make sense, even though I believe it should have been Long Beach, but that's just me. And then, of course, there's other street courses too. That's also possibly, and that we'll get into that when it comes to the expanded season topic. And I don't know if you want me to introduce that, Trey. You can do that, but yeah, there's Philadelphia that's on the list at the moment, which is kind of funny because I was just there literally yesterday, coming back from Pocono, and then there's also Montreal, which I believe is a very high possibility of being the next international race. So I don't know if you guys want to debate as to what you want to see. Personally, I think this might be the best way NASCAR gets back to the SoCal market. On a personal note, I also read that it's possible it could be in the Coronado area, which would be super freaking cool because that's where the Navy SEALs go through bug training. So I've also been there before, so it's really, really neat. That would be really, really cool if they got to go into a similar place like that.
Yeah. Well, first off, do you guys know what San Diego means in German? No, we won't get into that. But
I'm sorry, San Diego.
San
It's
Diego.
Spanish, not German.
That's what it means in German. There's gonna be so many Ron Burgundy like social media memes if we go to San Diego.
They should serve milk in the media center, even though it'd be a horrible choice. But no, I think it's really cool to do a street race in San Diego because, as you touched on, we need to get back in the SoCal market. There's a void there. It doesn't seem like Auto Club Speedway is coming back at any time soon. It's kind of in the North Wilkesboro state. It feels like that. Is it going to be 25 years before we see that back on the schedule? Maybe. And then like the Clash, the LA Coliseum Clash, just the interest kind of ran out on it by year 3, and so they quit doing that. And so, yeah, I think it's good to try San Diego. Because
oh no,
a lot of sports franchises have departed San Diego recently. So I'm wondering how they do at supporting sports, going off some of those. What do you got, Trey?
Just one
Chargers
left.
Crowds and stuff at the end.
Just the Chargers. They still have a really good baseball team there.
The Chargers?
Padres.
Yeah, the Padres are still in San Diego.
Oh, I thought you said the Chargers.
Yeah,
the Chargers.
I was like,
left San Diego.
Trey Blaney Lyle.
No, he said teams plural left San Diego, whereas it's only one team.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't really. He was Robo Massie for a second there.
The Chargers, which by the way, it won't happen because they did leave. But if you could make the colors of the weekend, the powder blue and Charger yellow, it'd be.
Those were pretty colors, but beautiful uniforms back in the day. But yeah, I think It'd be cool to try it out. And as for the other things you talked about, like all these ideas, they sound great, and I want to see them happen. I don't want to see them all happen at once, which I think we'll touch on more in the second part of this topic. But I just think we got to be patient. Try to just do one or two things at a time. I do think, and there was another report that NASCAR is close to extending with Bowman Gray. I think that's a mistake. I know it was a good crowd, but what does it hold? 17,000 people. I just think that nothing against Bowman Gray, but locking yourself in with that means that you either got to take a race from somewhere else or you got to add to the schedule. So whereas the Clash could be something you can move around, like taking it to LA or something. So I'm just weary that NASCAR is getting all these ideas and trying to act on them all at once, whereas on their own, they're all good ideas.
Before I talk about San Diego, I do have a joke for you guys. Do you know what the Chargers and NASCAR have in common?
What?
They don't really have fan followings in Los Angeles. So I think San Diego would be a prime spot. It's a big car town in general, and you're gonna have great views. Like the unfortunate part, like Chicago, I think if you get good weather, which knock on wood, this year it's going to be good weather in Chicago, you'll have great views of the river, of the north side of Chicago. But like to me, I think of Chicago, think of Shoulder Field, and I think of Wrigley Field, and the track didn't go anywhere near those two places, really. And I think if you think of Chicago, you think of those two, like, and so with San Diego, you really can highlight the city in a better way, and obviously it's gonna be a money making thing for them, and I think it gives them a presence in Southern California, which is desperately needed. Now, there are reports, I think Dale Jr. said if it does happen, it would happen during the prime part of the schedule. So maybe it takes the Mexico City race. And I don't know where Mexico goes, because if NASCAR really put Mexico City on July 4th weekend, I think I don't think that's smart.
Yeah.
I just don't. And I'm not here to say that, like, I'm not here to say they should. I just think their core fan base would not like that idea.
I get what you're saying, Trey. That would be a pretty bad reaction from the fan base.
Yes, I'm not. That's all I'm saying. And
cancel this man. Cancel him.
Yeah. What is it? At Trey Lyle VT. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and voice all your opinions.
I can make a joke.
If you want $50,000.
I could make a joke about being canceled for this podcast, but we'll talk about that on the show. But anyway, I think I said on my own radio show when this was announced, I said if San Diego really was happening in February, where the Auto Club spot would be, I don't like that. There's a perfect road course you could go. I think you can make the calendar kind of easy. If you're going to go to 2 road courses in California, you do Sonoma when it's green and looks pretty, and you do San Diego where it's going to be nice throughout the entire year. You can do that in the summer. I don't even think it'll be that hot, because San Diego is like the best weather city in the country by all reports. So we'll get to the bigger part of this in a second, but I like the idea, because I like that. I think your street, you want to have, I like having one street race and going to different cities. And if San Diego is going to cut you the biggest check business wise, it makes most sense. And it gives you, I think, a unique city that is craving sports in terms of people wanting to go to San Diego, because I think that city would be a very appreciative of a team wanting to go to San Diego. It's similar to like the Seattle argument, like Seattle losing, obviously, like I can use the Seattle now because of the Thunder, like winning the title. That was the former team from Seattle. Like going to these cities that, like Oakland's a little more complicated, but like Oakland's another city where they just lost franchises. Like they would be craving an identity with a sports league there. And being able to do that would be very interesting. But I think San Diego, from a city and from what it could offer from a track and the creative ways you can go, I think is a big win. But Dalton, in the San Diego Tribune article, there was another part about this that I did not like. And I know we wanted to make this a 2-parter. And
fire away. Go ahead.
You want? Okay, so
yeah, go ahead.
I'll present it. Okay. So there was reports of according to this, and I'm unfortunately having to use Brian Nolan's tweet because he summarized the article really well. So, but there could be a 39th and 40th race on the season. Montreal, Philadelphia, Denver have all expressed interest. Massie just touched on that, but the bigger part here, 39th and 40th race on the season, but is getting pushback from the teams. That is a giant red flag to me. Now, weeks wise, we know the date of the Daytona 500 and we know the date of the end of the season. I don't know how that works time wise, but I also think about it like this. If you go 40 weeks out of the year, that means you're off 12 weeks, but you have a one off week. So it's 40 races in a 41 week schedule. That means you have 11 weeks of an off season. That is unheard of in professional sports. And I don't really and I'm not looking at the drivers necessarily here. Like that would be a very big tax on them. I'm thinking more of the teams, like the pit crews, the hauler drivers, that it's way more of a week to week grind. Like some drivers are racing once a week, where some of these pit crew guys are doing 3 races a weekend for 40 weeks out of the year. That's kind of insane.
Yeah, sorry, Massie. I just 40 weeks, 30, even 38. Like 38, if they're 38 points races, yeah, it's pushing it. It's already pushing it. I mean, already drivers have complained that there's too many races on the schedule, and I don't look. If you're gonna do this, if you really are going to do this, for one, for a sport that's trying to save money, that is not the way of doing it. For one, for two, if you absolutely have no choice but you got to expand the season, you're going to have to have midweek races. You can't have more weekends. You just can't. You're already taking too much time away from the drivers and their families, not to mention everybody else, like the pit crews, team owners, crew chiefs, things like that. Everybody else that's in the industry, us included, you're already taking it away from all those people. And to expand that is just going to be too much. If you're going to do this, you got to have midweek races, at least make those 2 extra races midweek races, 2 to 4. And if you're going to do that, you got to have them really close to each other, because the hauler drivers, they're already we had an episode just, what was it, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, or 2 weeks ago with Ryan Ellis, talking about how hauler drivers have to go all the way from Michigan, all the way down to central Mexico, and then all the way up to Pocono. Like these hauler guys, that's too much. It's taxing. It's way too much to ask for. And if you're going to start having midweek races, I think we should do what Trey was just saying, in that if you're going to add San Diego, you can have San Diego and then Sonoma the week after, and then maybe Phoenix the week after that, and then you just kind of walk it back along the East Coast.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I know people could make the argument, well, back in Richard Petty's day, they raced 60 times or whatever. And first off, those guys didn't go to all 60 something, right? They weren't required to be at every race.
That's why you had 14 field cars at some tracks.
Yeah. And then also they would have a Wednesday night race, and it was all, I know they had races they'd go to the West Coast for Riverside, or Richard Petty's first win was in Canada, but for the most part they were all in one region, so it really wasn't that much driving around. So it was more feasible back then. Now,
and it was one car. It was
one
one car.
It's not a fleet. Yeah. Now it's these places we're talking about: San Diego, Montreal, Philadelphia. They're all Mexico. They're all so far apart from each other, and people have to be there every week. It doesn't seem possible. And I also wonder, TV pays the bills, right? TV locked into their contract already. So if there's more races, will they have to pay more? I'm not sure that they would. And we're already talking about the teams not getting enough money. So now they would have to spend more money to go to more races and be making the same, probably. So none of this is making sense to me. It just feels like, I'll call it what it is. It's greed. That's all it is. It's people in suits in Daytona that don't have anything to do with the car. They don't have to be there every week.
Well, it's Charlotte too. I mean,
Charlotte and Daytona. Yeah, just a bunch of suits there that they
Don't
don't
they have an
have to
office
go
in
to
New
every
York?
race. Yeah, they're not there every week though, and so they don't understand. And also, if they are there, where they just fly in on like a Saturday or Sunday or something, watch it for a few hours, go home. Like, so it probably does see me. It just feels. I know it's an insulting term, but it just feels out of touch. It feels like they're out of touch from their teams.
Yeah, I do wonder. I know in like the college football contracts, like there's certain language, like if you expand that the TV deals have to, because you get more games, you have to pay X amount of dollars to more. They'll pay X amount of dollars more. So I do wonder if you add a race, will they pay whatever the price per race is more? But we got some comments here. We got Wyatt saying it's flat out mental. Check out Through the Gears, by the way, with Wyatt Watson. Brian with a, load management coming for drivers. Possibly.
yeah,
I mean,
got to manage your loads.
Denny Hamlin kind of got load managed. Because Denny managed his load, he got to load manage a race. Thank you for that.
I'm just repeating what he said.
Moto Jensen, I think I'm pronouncing that right. Anything
Whoa.
Long Beach.
All right, shots across the bow.
I'm
All right.
assuming he wants Moto. I think he wants Long Beach for the IndyCar, which I'm okay with. But I would love to see Long Beach.
I look. I like the idea of IndyCar and NASCAR working together because we're both like American motorsport entities. That I mean, I like IndyCar. I like NASCAR. I like to see them both work together. But okay, fine. Like if you don't want NASCAR to intrepid, you don't want NASCAR to tread on your grounds. That's okay. That's fine. We'll go to San Diego. Yeah. Sorry. That's it.
So, yeah. So, Brian saying more races hypothetically equals more ad sale revenue equals larger payout to teams. So
we'll see. Yeah, that also means they got to spend more money too.
Yeah, that's true. Which
they got to buy more cars.
We could talk about the lawsuit in terms of money getting revealed, but we will not do that right now. We got more topics to come out, and Michael Massie, you kind of had to do all the work behind the scenes, but we have a fun article coming out tomorrow at frontstretch.com, and we've been teasing this for weeks, and now it's officially out, or it'll be officially out tomorrow, but on Tuesday or on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is Wednesday.
It'll probably go live around 9 p.m. tomorrow night Eastern
So
time.
Wednesday night, Thursday morning. There we go.
Yeah, Thursday morning. And it'll be a two-parter because we as the staff, 21 writers, sat down and voted on who the top 10 prospects in NASCAR are right now. And basically, it works kind of like your typical like voting thing where first place gets you 10 points, last place or 10th place gets you 1 point. And then I took everybody's votes, compiled it together. The criteria was basically, the only criteria was they can't be a full-time cup driver right now. And I probably should have put, couldn't be one in the past either, but nobody voted for like Justin Allgaier. So it didn't matter anyways. But yeah.
Some of these guys that we did vote on did have cup starts. I think it was going to be hard to say that because then like you technically could be like, well, does that mean you disqualify a guy who's very high up, or a couple guys who are very high up on our list?
Yeah. There's a handful that have cup starts. I don't think anybody that made it has been full time in cup. But I don't want to reveal the list now. But we made the three of us all voted in it as well. So we're gonna reveal who we voted for tonight, and that'll help you kind of get a shape on. But I'll tell you. Xfinity drivers, truck drivers, ARCA drivers,
Cars Tour
drivers,
Bandolero drivers.
Yeah, there's a lot that got voted on. Even the YouTube star got voted for, but he didn't make it.
Yes. Spoiler alert: Eric Almirola.
That is a really good point, though. Eric Almirola.
He
is not on the list, but
Yeah.
I can see where he's coming from saying that.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
And the other receiving votes is Cletus McFarland. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah. So do we want to look at Trey.
Judge
He
it.
worked hard on compiling some graphics on our.
I try to do my job. We'll see if everything's spelled right. All right, here we go. First up, Michael
All right,
Massie.
Massie, you want to explain yourself?
Can you even see the list?
I can see it.
I got to look
No,
real
no,
close at it.
I'm looking at Massie. Well, you should know your list by heart.
Yeah. I can see it well enough. So basically, I felt positions 1 and 2 are a toss up, but they're far and away above everybody else. So I went with Heim just because I think he's better on the ovals right now, and that's most of the schedule. And he's just dominating the Truck Series. Should have won every race probably, but those two are pretty close. So that's why I went with the Heim and Zillage 1-2. Lane Riggs number 3 because you watch the truck races, he's kind of the guy that can hang with Heim the most. And when you have like Kyle Larson, Carson Hocevar in the series, he's put up a good fight with those guys as well. So I think he's really good prospect. Carson Quaffle, 2-time Cars Tour champion. He impressed me when he finished second to Zilla Dakota earlier this year. And I think, just a little more experience, he's going to be winning Xfinity races. Austin Hill, Austin Hill, if he was younger, he'd be higher on the list for me. But he's a guy you could argue is Cup ready right now, just because he's won so many races in Xfinity, and they really kind of feel like they're wasting like his prime years keeping him in Xfinity. But that's from there. Butterbean, Brendan Queen, number 6. Corey Heim raced him in ARCA, and he beat him. And he's looked great in ARCA. He looked great in the Cars Tour champion. I think he's a guy that see, now you went to me and I can't see the list anymore.
Trey,
There we go. But no, it's smaller. Just go back to the way you had it.
no, perfect. Don't touch anything.
Don't touch anything. Yeah, so
I was trying to make it so that you could
the
see
audio listeners are extremely confused at the moment.
Oh yeah.
I was trying to manipulate so that you could see yourself, like you bigger. Clearly, this is your list. I'm trying, I was trying to make it look cool, but
I appreciate
the
effort.
I appreciate it. Yeah, you good.
But yeah, so Butterbean, Butterbean hasn't done much now, but I think there's a world of talent, world of potential behind him.
He's the ARCA points leader, right? As we sit right now.
Believe so. Yes.
Gotta be. Then you got Jesse Love, 7th. Love, my problem with Love, the only reason some people put him higher on the list is he hasn't won a non-super speedway yet. I know he crossed the line first at Rockingham, but he got it taken away. But the potential's there. He dominated ARCA when he was in it, and I think those wins will come eventually, but just need to see a little more. Connor Hall, you watch the Cars Tour, he's a factor every single week. I mean, he's driving for Junior Motorsports. Yeah, the guys that drive for Junior Motorsports in the Cars Tour tend to get opportunities up the ladder, and Junior's got a pretty good eye for talent, so that's where Connor Hall falls into place.
We're getting to the most crazy one I have for Massie.
Mm-hmm.
The crazy Keelan Harvick.
The fact you have him 9th. Not even 10th. Like you emphatically have him in.
Yeah, I mean, because he's good. He won. They had the Harvick versus Harvick race, and he
won that
it
because his dad.
Because they wrecked.
Because they wrecked.
Somebody wrecked his dad.
By the way, the other famous driver's son. Did he make the top 10? I know he got voted on.
He didn't make it.
I don't think
Neither one made it, but they both got votes. So Keelan, put him in there. He's getting into the Cars Tour now, and I think it's just he's one of those guys. As soon as he hits 16, I'm sure you're going to see him in the Truck Series, and he's just going to have every opportunity. But like he makes the most of them. He's had great coaches, got a great team around him. I just think he's very well set up for success. It seems like he has a good head on his shoulders to be successful.
He's in the Trackhouse pipeline, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. If you don't think he's going to be in the Cup Series one day, you're just wrong. He'll be a Cup Series driver.
He'll have the sponsorship. He'll have I think he'll have bare minimum.
He'll be fine. He'll make it.
Hunt Brothers and all those Harvick sponsors from over the years. And
once he turns 21, he'll get the Busch Beer sponsorship.
Probably. Because Chastain will be an old man by that point. And then rounded out, Caden Honeycutt. I thought about putting him higher. He won the Pro Late Model Championship in cars last year, and he's one of those guys. He's kind of like Carson Quaffle. I feel like where he's close to winning, and or maybe once he starts winning in trucks, he's gonna win more. So I think the world of his talent. But yeah, that's my top 10.
Yeah, I have Caden Honeycutt on my list. I even have him higher than Massie. We'll get to mine last. But I always thought about this. Like Nice, I think, is obviously a tier 2 truck team. And I think the last guy we saw who showed like race winning speed in a Nice truck, well, that's Carson. That was Carson. Like it was like Ross and Carson Osmar.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you keep, you think of those parallels. Now, I don't think Caden Honeycutt is the aggressive driver like those two, but in terms of talent and raw speed, it's clearly showing there. But Mr. Hopkins, the Dynaco prospect list is
Thank you.
As what?
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna time myself so I don't go too far. I don't want to explain every single guy, but I'm gonna actually start from the bottom top. So because Massie already mentioned some guys, and I feel like I agree with him on a lot of them, but number 10, I have Parker Retzlaff, and I will say that I say he did not make the top 10. I'm almost 100% certain he did not make the top 10. I hate the fact that I feel like he's overlooked because I remember watching him drive for Ryan Sieg in his very first starts. I think he got a top 10 and like at Richmond in one of his very first starts. And ever since then, I have watched him go from Ryan Sieg to Jordan Anderson. Now he's with Alpha Prime, and he has outperformed every car that he has been in. And I feel like if he just got that shot, like if he just got a chance in like a Junior Motorsports or a Hendrick Xfinity car, Joe Gibbs, any of like the top or the higher tier teams, he could be really, really, really good. And I hate, and he finished second at Rockingham with Alpha Prime, one of their best finishes. So, I have him as number 10. I feel like he could be a lot better. So Carson Quappel, I have him as number 9. He's really good in late models. I agree, but I have not seen a whole lot out of him in the Xfinity series. That said, I mean, he's good. He is very talented. I just don't feel like he's better than the top 8 that I've got right now. Lane Riggs, number 8. I feel like Massie really summed up everything. He's going toe to toe with guys like Corey Heim in the Truck Series, and I'd love to see more of what he can do. Also, I mean, second generation driver, right? I think he's got a pipeline that'll set him up for success, and he just won at Pocono. People think of him as a short track racer, but he just won a 2.5 mile track, so that just goes to show that he's getting better. I have Nick Sanchez at number 7. I feel like people are overlooking Nick Sanchez way too much because he joined the 48. He won races in the number 2 truck last year. He was a phenom in the ARCA Menards series, and then he went into, now he's in the Xfinity Series driving for Big Machine. He hasn't won yet, but he's put up some really solid finishes. I think he started 3rd at Pocono. I mean, he's outperforming that car. I think he's outperforming that car more than Parker Kligerman is. So Parker Kligerman was. So he's done a really great job in his first full-time year in the Xfinity Series, and I'm really interested to see what more he can do. Brendan Queen, Butterbean, Massie summed up everything at number 6. I feel like he's, again, very good ARCA Menards Series racer. I think he's a fantastic personality. I cannot wait to see what more he does in the Cup Series. I hope he doesn't get vanillaed out like many drivers do as they progress to the rankings. Christian Eckes, I have at number 5. I feel like everybody just forgot about what he did in the Truck Series last year. Now he's with Colleague. Yeah. See, Trey,
we're gonna hint on
you'll
my
get
list.
into that, Trey. You'll get into that, Trey. Yeah, I feel like everybody just forgot that he just absolutely destroyed the Truck Series last year, and would have won the championship if it was a regular season points all the way through all the races, but couldn't. And then and now he's with Colleague Racing, and he hasn't won yet. But I mean, it's Colleague Racing; like they haven't really had good runs at all the entire year, so I'm not that surprised. And look at Daniel Hemrick. It does hurt his stock a little bit, but it doesn't negate the fact that he's an extremely talented race car driver. Just finished 3rd at Pocono, by the way. And Look at if you don't think so, look at Daniel Hemrick, what he's done with the 19 truck. He's gotten 1 win and not a whole lot else in that number 19 truck this year. So
I think it's saying more of Colleague because it feels like Colleague, and we had a private conversation about this on Saturday talking about Josh Williams, but I felt like ever since Colleague gone Cup racing, their Xfinity program has just taken a step back, and I think they got lucky having AJ who could get to the Final Four because one of the races in the round of 8 for the Xfinity Series was the Roval, and he just wins the Roval. So I think with them they've taken a step back in their Xfinity program. We're gonna get to Christian Eckes. I'm very high on him. The guy you have 2 outlier guys. Obviously we went over Massie's outlier guy, but this is probably your biggest outlier. I think to the group, at least to me, is the next guy in Sam Mayer.
Sam Mayer. I think. Well, technically, I have 3 outliers. Oh, actually, well,
I meant to us 3. I'm not talking about to the.
To us. 10, okay, yeah. Sam
3.
Mayer. Look, I know that nobody seems Sam Mayer. I don't understand why he didn't get the votes. I know he hasn't won this year, but he's been winning with Junior Motorsports the last 2 years, and he joined this brand new team and Haas factory team, and he hasn't won, but he's gotten plenty of top 5s, and I feel he's a championship contender. I mean, he's right there. I feel like he's on the verge of winning. He's outperforming Sheldon Creed, who's been here for how long? Former Truck Series champion also. I mean, I don't feel like he's getting the respect that he deserves also, and I feel like he's also in that pipeline where one day, I mean, eventually a Ford driver is not going to be around in the Cup Series anymore, and Sam Mayer's going to take up that spot. I feel like he's just sleeping, and pretty soon here, he's going to get a win, and people are going to start noticing him. Jesse Love at number 3. Look, I know he hasn't won at a super speed. He's only won at a super speedway race, but should have won at Rockingham if it weren't for the DQ. Just finished 2nd at Pocono. Arguably could have won that race too. I feel like on the normal tracks, he's outperforming his teammate Austin Hill, and that's really saying something. You also notice I don't have Austin Hill on here. Only reason is because I feel like he's just settled in the Xfinity Series. I don't think he's going to go to the Cup Series. I don't even consider him a prospect anymore. Number 2 versus number 1. Here's where the huge debate is: Corey Heim versus Connor Zilisch. I put Corey Heim at number 2. I think everybody should just calm the hell down about Corey Heim. Okay? I know he's done really well in the Truck Series. I know he is just winning every Truck Series race, and he's going to win the championship. He's the baddest dude in the series. That's great. I need to see him more in the Xfinity Series. I need to see him start winning races in the Xfinity Series because I haven't seen him win any races in the Xfinity Series yet. So
he nearly did with Sam Hunt. He nearly did with Sam Hunt.
He did.
Sure.
He finished 13th at Kansas in the.
He was the best 2311 car.
Yeah, day. But none of the 2311 cars were doing well that day.
Well, I think 2 of them wrecked too.
Look, okay, 1 Cup race, and we're praising him because he finished 13th. I mean, that's good, but it's not like, oh my God, this kid's the phenom. Like, this kid's the second coming. Like, he's good, okay? Don't get me wrong, and he's going to be a Cup Series driver one day. He's going to be racing on Sundays full time very soon. Maybe even potentially next year, but I don't think he is on Connor Zilich's level yet, and he is at number 1 for me. Look, already has won on Xfinity. He's already got 3 Xfinity Series wins, and one of them just won on his first oval. I know it's a triangle, but whatever. And just won on his first oval.
Non-road course.
Non-road course. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah. His first road course, he just showed everybody that he's good at all-around driving.
He didn't have his crew chief. He didn't have his crew
chief. Didn't even have his crew chief. He had a guy. Look, Dale Jr. is a good. He has a lot of knowledge of the sport. He's not a crew chief. Okay.
Yeah. He had an quote from Kyle Busch, a warm body.
Warm body. Oh my God. Yeah.
Get that audio this week, Dalton.
Yeah. Everyone's hating on Kyle Busch because he said that to me at Pocono.
Make sure if you want to attack Kyle Busch, you also attack at Pit Lane CPT because it was clearly his fault.
But look, this kid is he's not recognized only in NASCAR. He is internationally recognized. People around the world know who he is because he's won other outside of NASCAR. He's not just a guy who's won in the lower tier series of NASCAR. He's already won 3 races, and he only has how many wins? Won his very first start in the Xfinity Series at Watkins Glen. Didn't just win, spanked the field in winning. Won the pole and won the race. Personally, I think Connor, I feel like he's ready for Cup now. And he's only like, what, 19 years old?
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see what more he can do.
Ah. Dalton, so I thought about this, and I actually wrote on my list 1A, 1B for the top 2, and I'm not going to reveal who's the number 1, but I think every poll had Heim or Zilich 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not mistaken, Massie.
It came down to 1 point between.
Yeah,
the
I was
two.
about
won't
to say
which
that.
one.
Yeah, it was really
I was going to
close.
say, and if you look at the scoring gap, which I'm staring at right now, there is a massive gap between second and third. A massive gap.
I feel like everybody saw what everyone else was voting for, and they were just like, "Oh yeah, these two guys are like the best." They just kept putting them as 1 or 2.
Maybe a flaw on the guy who took the poll, but some people got to share their opinions unfiltered, so maybe it didn't affect them as much.
I will say too, the voting was before Pocono, so it was before Zilich won.
Yeah, it was. That's where we're about to get to mine. So I wrote when I sent this to Massie, I said 1A, 1B. And I had to put someone first. And I really regret it. I think if I had to do it over, I would flip it. I have Corey Heim first. And I think the fact I sent it right after his performance at Kansas, and he was the best out of one of the better performing teams in NASCAR this season in 23-11, at least like argue top tier of the second tier teams. And he was the best that weekend at theoretically one of their best tracks, which was Kansas. It's what put me there. So I had Corey Heim 1, Connor Zilich 2. I think if I redid it today, I would flip those two, but they're really 1A, 1B. I'd put it this way. Those are the two guys that if I bet those two versus anyone else in the Xfinity Series, in Xfinity Series, and the Truck Series, any prospect that we could have picked from, if I had those two or the field in terms of winning a cup race, I'm taking those two. I think that's how I feel about it. I'm like that strong in their belief that they'll win it. They might win a cup race before Ty Gibbs. But I had Heim 1, Zilich 2, Jesse Love 3. I felt really good about the first 5. And then I was like, all right, let me shake it up. Carson Kvapil 4th, and then I have Eckes 5th. I agree with Dalton. People must forgot he was going toe to toe with Corey Heim last year in the Truck Series, and was arguably the best one in the Truck Series last season. I think it's saying more about Colleague, and he's had bad luck this season than his actual performance. So, I think having a 5 might be if we did this last year, he'd be third? I think he'd be third. I truly think
he'd be higher on the list.
I think the top 2 would have stayed the same, and he would be third. Then y'all talked about Brennan Queen, Lane Riggs, and then I just trust Toyota development enough where they clearly think Brent Cruz is the next guy. So I put him on my list, and he's done enough in the lower series where now he's had a couple truck starts and they haven't gone great. And maybe as he gets older, they will get greater. They will get better. But I mean, he's only 18, 17. So can't even go to the big tracks yet. So we'll see how he does there. Massie covered Caden Honey up, cut enough. And then 10 is Corey Day. And I'm only putting him on there because I think Rick Hendrick might have the best eye for talent in NASCAR. If you look at his history and the guys he just plucks out and say, you can have a ride. And he will also have the full support of Hendrick Motorsports throughout his Xfinity career and then probably a Cup career. So he's going to get as much runway and the best possible resources. So I snuck Corey Day in at 10, and I felt really good about this list. And, I think with Austin Hill, he's 31 years old. I really don't you have to be under the age of 25 to be a prospect in my eyes. And I just think, and I also think Austin Hill's only good at one style of track. And that's super speedways.
Can you go back to my list real fast?
Yes.
I just want to see. Oh, you didn't do it.
What?
Sam Mayer's photo.
Oh no, yeah, I fixed it.
No, I was saying. I We had an inside joke where I was telling Trey to put Ed Lane's photo in Sam Mayer's.
Oh,
I was really hoping you were actually gonna do it.
I thought you were talking about on the rough draft I had because I did Massey's first. I had to move him around. I had Keelan Harvick.
Oh no.
Spot. Sorry. When you texted that, I already had it set. I was like, this would be like the 5th time I edit this thing.
Yeah, edited it. Yeah.
But yes. Okay. But yeah, there are our prospect list. A couple comments to look at. Moto Jensen saying Butterbean is fun like a Josh Williams who can drive shell stuff brick, is crazy fast and a great attitude. Hostbar might be him and hits the gag reflex so hard I need to buy new shoes. Okay. Thank you for that.
I feel like if Hocevar wasn't full time, he would definitely be like top 2.
Oh, yeah.
He might be, yeah. Honeycutt is just methodical. I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And yes, you're right, Wyatt. Matt DiBenedetto did not make the list.
I don't know. He might have got a vote. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I will say on the Zillage Heim thing, my only hope is that they end up going to Cup the same year. Because how fun would that Rookie of the Year battle
Which
be?
It would have to be 2 years from now.
Yeah, probably.
Which,
and
honestly, for both of them, is what should happen.
It probably should. Because it'd be like Dale Jr., Matt Kenseth, that kind of thing. I'm trying to think of others where maybe like Truex and Denny and Boyer.
Didn't Blaney and Chase, weren't they rookies the same year?
Oh, yeah, they were. Yeah, good pull.
That might be the best comparison. Like 2 guys that had all the backing since they were as young as possible, who are kind of we're gonna be positioned as the next face for their manufacturer. Obviously, Blaney for Ford, Chase for Chevy. So, well, that was our prospect list. If you hate them, at the Brian Nolan. If you love them, at Trey Lyle VT, at M_Massey22, and at Pit Lane CPT. All right, our final topic when we actually talk about, or we have 2 more topics that we can talk about, but do we really want to talk about Dirty Air again? Or
we can move on. I feel like everyone's talked about the Pocono Dirty Air. Yeah, hey, I'll do it in 10 seconds. Pocono Dirty Air sucks, okay? It's not good. Nobody likes it. Pocono's great, but the cars, we got to work on it, okay? All right, let's move on.
No passing. All right. Well, the in-season challenge is coming up, and we've decided we're going to give our picks because clearly we are procrastinators here at foreignstretch.com. And let's get into it. Our picks. Well, first, level of excitement. From 1 to 10 on this, Dalton, you got to interact with the drivers, so I'll have 2 questions for you. 1 to 10 level excitement for the drivers, and then a 1 to 10 level excitement for you personally.
Level excitement from the drivers, maybe like a 3. I heard maybe 1 guy talking about it the entire weekend, maybe 2, and then I think the second one was Kyle Busch, and he said he wasn't paying attention at all. And then for me, I guess it's at like a 6. Now that I've got a bracket, so I guess I've got a stake in it. I don't know. I am interested. I need to see what happens this weekend. If the drivers actually take it seriously and they like race hard against who they're going against, then sure. Yeah, well, it's a bigger thing than we thought, but I don't know.
I don't know why they had to pick Atlanta as the first one. I feel like that's going to be like it's going to be
random.
entertaining because they're going to be so close to each other, but it's such it is going to produce random results.
Yeah,
which we'll get into when we predict it. Massie, 1 to 10.
I'd go like a 6 or 7. It'll be fun to see, but I'm not like jumping with joy. I had the chance to watch it. So.
Yeah, I think I'm a 6 too. Maybe a 7. Like I'm excited for the idea. I think the round, like the round of 8, round of 4, round of 2 are gonna be the most interesting part of this. And we're gonna get the guys we have winning. I think if the guy who kind of came up with the idea wins this, I think it will be really good. Like I compare it to the in-season tournament in basketball because that's the fair comparison. And I think what made it at least viable for the future is the fact that LeBron James won it in his first year with the Lakers, and the Lakers won it. So if you have a guy like, we're gonna get to our predictions, but if you have the guy who came up with it, Denny Hamlin, win it in his first year, or Chase Elliott win it in the first time. I think that would help with the long-term viability of the bracket. But let's get to it. Dalton, Michael Massie, I think you're first here. Just give our any upsets, any notable upsets you have, and then how was your Final Four, and then the championship. If you want to see his full bracket, and you're listening on the audio side, go to our YouTube video, youtube.com/at. Nope, YouTube. I was about to give my VTR and Sports One. YouTube.com/front stretch. Hit the live tab, and you can watch back the video and see our full brackets. But here's yours. And how about notable upsets, Final Four, and the champ?
So the thing is, you really got to pay attention to the track they're at. So like Atlanta, I'm figuring go hard on Penske. So that's why I have like Logano upsetting Bowman, if you can call that an upset. Like Suarez is really good at Atlanta, so I got him beating Bubba. And then let's see some others, like McDowell over Allmendinger because he's a good super speedway racer. Same with Todd Gilliland over Buescher because Gilliland's always fast at Atlanta. And so those are kind of some early round upsets. And then like I got McDowell going all the way to the championship 4 just because of the track layouts. These super speedways, road courses. So like he's gonna beat Ty Gibbs. He's going to beat Austin Cindric, both of them at road courses. And then you're going to deal with, what's the 4th race of it? I'm trying to think. It says Atlanta.
Dover.
Dover. Yeah. So then, like, he's going to hit a brick wall of McDowell versus Byron at Dover. Whereas, like, it's so weird that Byron's an 18 seed. So
that's the points leader.
Yeah, he's the points leader. He's going to be, like, upsetting people the whole way through my bracket. So, yeah, just because some of the tracks, that's why I have Suarez going far as well, because, like, Atlanta, and then he's good at Sonoma as well. And, like, Chase Elliott is always great at road courses, so you know he'll make a pretty good run. And that's the only reason I think he'll beat Bell is because it's a road course, even though Bell's not bad at them. So you're going to end up Final Four of Denny, Chase Elliott, William Byron, Michael McDowell, 2 Hendrick guys. And then at Dover, like Denny's going to beat Chase. He's been better than him all year, I think. Byron, I already talked about, better than McDowell. And then head-to-head, Denny versus Byron at the Brickyard. The Brickyard, I just think of as a Hendrick track. And I don't, like, Denny's never won it. It's the one crown jewel that eludes him. So that's why I'm giving it to Byron. But it is close between the two of them. What do you guys think?
Oh, well, we'll get to it. Dalton.
Yeah, unsurprisingly, my final 2 are Denny Hamlin and Chris Buescher. Look, I will explain. Okay, let me get to some of the upsets. I guess one upset you could consider is John Hunter Nemechek. I have him beating Josh Berry in Atlanta, but Atlanta's such a crapshoot. I mean, honestly, we're probably all extremely wrong when it comes to the first brackets. I don't really see anybody else that's really. I do have Ricky Stenhouse Jr. beating Christopher Bell at Atlanta. That's because Ricky Stenhouse is just really good. It's super speedway plate racer, if you want, drafting racer, if you want to call it that. And I could definitely see Christopher Bell having issues. That said, I think he gets knocked out in the next round by Ross Chastain. So that's why I have Ross Chastain in the final 8. Now, 2 guys that I do have in the final 8 that I do feel like are quote unquote upsets, and that's being Michael McDowell and Chris Buescher. McDowell, look. We have 2 road courses back to back. Like when it comes to these next 5 races, I feel like if you don't have Michael McDowell at least in your final 8, what are you doing? Like because like the guy is really good at road course racing, and then Chris Buescher, I also have there because Chris Buescher he has the best finishing average when it comes to the next gen car out of the entire field. I think. Look, I know there's the joke about me picking Chris Buescher all the time, but realistically, I really do see him making the Final Four, and it's for that reason. That said, when they get to Dover, I have Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Chris Buescher, Elliott versus Hamlin, Reddick versus Buescher in the final 4. Buescher, I feel like, is going to beat Reddick because I feel like the RFK cars are pretty decent at Dover. And I have him winning over Todd Gillen because the RFK cars are also very good at plate races as well. That's at Atlanta. So Denny Hamlin beats Chase Elliott. I feel like Denny's just going to beat Chase Elliott at Dover. Denny's very good at Dover. He's won there before. So Chase Elliott has too, but Denny's done better. So I'm pretty sure he's the defending winner there as well. And then we get to Indy, and I have Denny Hamlin and Chris Buescher versus one another. And this is where, as much as I wanted to pick Chris Buescher because of the joke, because of the funny haha meme, I do feel like this actually could be the year that Denny Hamlin wins Indianapolis. He's come very close. I feel like he is still very focused. He's a contender every single weekend. I don't really know if there's been a year that hasn't been as competitive as he is right now. So I can easily see him going into the Brickyard with more determination than ever to not only win the last crown jewel race he needs to win, but also win his own tournament bracket and then win against at least Chris Buescher being in the final 2. So I have Denny Hamlin as my overall winner.
Not shocked here because I too have Denny Hamlin and
Chris Buescher. You got Chris Buescher too in the final there. How about that?
I do. I actually have an RFK versus RFK semifinal. I think my shocking run is Ryan Preece, who is underratedly really good at road courses. He had a really good performance in Mexico City. Maybe I'm over evaluating that. I went Ford heavy in the first round. Outside of Noah Gragson advancing in Atlanta. I do have Zane Smith at least advancing one round. I had to do that. I have Haley over Ty Gibbs, I guess, is an upset in the first round. I have Tyler Reddick beating Kyle Larson in the first round, which you want to call an upset. And it's more of I just don't trust Kyle Larson at super speedways. I think I picked actually Belva over Suarez at Atlanta because I think with those type of races you have luck, you have a certain amount of luck, and I feel like Suarez is used. It's more of playing off the Suarez luck there as well. So and maybe Bubba's more desperate for good finishes because of the playoff situation. But I ended up with a final 4 of Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, who I think could have a sneaky really good run in this because if he gets through Atlanta, I think the road courses suit him as well. I also have McDowell in my final 8, and then I have Ryan Preece, Chris Buescher. I have Hamlin over Buescher, and I agree with you. Maybe because it was his idea, I'm going with Denny Hamlin. It just feels serendipitous that he wins it. And then this man right here commented, "Great show, boys. Love you all." He made a pick on some scribble, and he ends up with.
Stingray Rob.
He ends up with a final of Josh Berry and Karsten Hocevar, and having Hocevar
vastly different than ours.
Yes.
Well,
so
based on the draft of last year we did, we know that's the wrong one.
But yeah, there you have it.
I just want to note that Denny Hamlin is going against Ty Dillon in the first round in Atlanta. He could easily lose that because of some like crash or something, and Ty Dillon gets like a wild 8th place finish. You know, like Atlanta's such a crapshoot. You know,
Well,
you remember only tournament in history of sports the 1 seed is never won. Like never won. If they ended it after 1 year, it'd be like the only tournament in the history of sports where the 1 seed has never won. He's the one.
But yeah, remember Atlanta last fall where Denny ran like 25th all day? So that is a possibility. Like just bust all over.
Yeah, but that was him on purpose. That was him in the playoff race taking that as that was his strategy. So I wonder. I'm assuming he's not going to do that this time.
Probably not, but
well, he might if Ty Dillon wrecks himself like 2 laps in, and he's like, okay, I'll just chill.
But you guys know. How far did you have Byron making it, Dalton? I don't remember.
I can pull it back.
I actually might have had him losing in the first round.
Okay.
So no, I had him winning. Hold on.
You had him to the final 8.
Where is he?
Okay.
I did have him in the final 8. Oh yeah, okay. Trey. He's in the final 8. Yeah.
I was gonna say if Byron wins the whole thing, I will beat Trey so badly in this thing.
Oh yeah, because I that is my upset. I have Preece beating Byron in the first round. So that I'm gonna, you know what? I'm giving Ryan Priest my Zane Smith treatment on Sunday.
You shifted over. Wait, how far did you pick Zane to go?
1 round.
Oh.
I really did.
Use his brains, not his emotions.
I really wanted to have this as Zane Smith win the whole thing because we'll get into it.
Cindric's so good at Atlanta.
Yeah, but I had to pick Zane to at least win 1 round.
I gotcha.
So I just need the Penske cars to take themselves out, and I'll be set. All right, folks. Well, I don't know. A little bittersweet. So we're making some changes to the podcast network here at frontstretch.com, and I am moving to the Bringing the Heat podcast. And I guess, unfortunately for you guys, you two, Brian Nolan is taking my place.
Yeah, we got to deal with him now.
So, yeah, it's going to be effective next week. Yes. I'll be back intermittently. I will host Jeopardy, of course, which will happen whenever. I don't know when. But I just want to say, boys, this is why I was brought to the site. Is this podcast, the concept? Obviously, grew to the podcast manager. And I've loved every second of it. We've had so much fun. And I will miss recording. Obviously, we will be still very close and talking every day and stuff like that. But I will miss these moments every week. But hopefully, good things ahead for the entire network as we make this transition. And who knows? I'll be here. The way Brian likes to work, I just might have to do this every week.
Yeah, not wrong.
Yeah, because we know that the Bringing the Heat with Brian Nolan was kind of the joke we'd make was it's Bringing the Heat without Brian Nolan.
That's what I should get. That's how I think I'm gonna record the new intro. Is Bringing
That's
the Heat
how you
without,
should.
Not my name, just without Brian Nolan.
Just without Brian Nolan.
And everyone's and the listeners can be like, "Thank God." No, I'm just kidding. Brian's a great guy. He's gonna have fun in this, and it accommodates his schedule better, and it hopefully lessens my load here at the website. Probably won't, but that's so well. But yeah, boys, it's been a pleasure. Massie is frozen.
Yeah, I was gonna say Massie got frozen in time there. He's back to recording on his potato.
But before we get on out of here, he's out. All right, Dalton. Anything you want to plug? Are you going? You were at the track this past weekend. Anything else you want to talk about before we get on out of here?
No, I think that's it. I've got, just one article coming out later this week. I'm not going to reveal anything just yet, but there's some stuff that I am working on. So we'll see what happens. Got some pretty interesting opinions from some folks this weekend, this weekend and months past about a certain topic in the sport. So I'll put that out at some point probably this week. And yeah, that's about it. I'll be at Chicago in 2 weeks, though.
You'll have some deep dish pizza?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I've got deep dish pizza in the fridge right now. I'm going to go have some of that, but I cannot wait to enjoy the Chicago deep dish.
Massie?
It's all right.
Are you got anything you want to plug? Any final thoughts?
Well, I'll say, Trey, it's been a fun 2 years with you. The times are certainly not over. And yeah, we're just everything. The podcasts are just gonna keep on rolling out. We've got some big guests in store for you, and I'm sure Trey's gonna have some great guests over there on Bring the Heat. And
if people reply to my emails,
and I'm sure you'll see the two of us popping up on there on Bringing the Heat with them from time to time,
or my radio show. I have that too.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Well, if I'm still allowed on there.
Yeah, Mr. Yeah, he decides to kick me off this podcast and then no shows my whole show.
Oh my God!
Did
he sleep in? Is that what happened?
This man can't.
Oh, good God!
This podcast.
No, I didn't oversleep.
Director for the website.
I didn't oversleep.
Your alarm? Did you text me? My alarm didn't go off
because I forgot to set it. Because when I was going to bed, I forgot to set it for 7 o'clock morning when you're the awful time your show starts. But yeah, plugging stuff wise, well, yeah, the prospect rankings. Look for them. Was it Wednesday night, Thursday morning. Part 2, Thursday night, Friday morning. I'll have a Fire on Fridays this week. Not sure what I'll write it on yet. Maybe something within season tournament and lack of care for it. We'll see. And
In season
then
challenge. You got to get the words right.
Oh, sorry. In season challenge. And then also I'll have a video come out at some point of I was at Langley Speedway this past weekend for a guy that 68 years old who's just starting off his racing career with a used car he has that has 500,000 miles on it. So it's just a interesting, never too late to live your dream out type story.
The nicest thing he's ever said to me. Thank you, Trey, for everything you did for Happy Hour. Appreciate you, brother. That was Brian Nolan. Nicest thing he's ever said to me. He actually says something nice.
He's got to cancel it out immediately. He's going to say something awful in text immediately.
Yes.
But yeah, just check out all that stuff.
All right, signing off for now. Brian will be hosting Bring the Heat, where I have to make this announcement again for that podcast. So tune into that. Dalton, we will have an interview. We will have which one do we decide on to air this week?
It's probably gonna be Matt Mills.
We'll have Matt Mills going to the Inferno during Bring the Heat. We'll have that and fun podcast ahead. Thank you so much for tuning in to Happy Hour. Signing off for now. Goodbye, everybody.